infographics has been around for 40 years, and we've worked with colleges and universities perpetually through that time. And recently, in the last few years, we have linked with Dylan Valade and SunGem to offer a product that is unique and revolutionizing the academic and admissions process. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Dylan. We're going to walk you through a few PowerPoints and then take you to a website to examine some of the opportunities available there. So I look forward to the rest of the presentation.
All right, thanks, Jeff. I'm Dylan Valade, the creator of Matchbook. 90% of high school juniors and seniors have visited college website this month. That means almost 100% are actively online looking at colleges. That's how they're starting their process. The first touch point is the website. 78% of the teens use a mobile device, 14 to 17. That's a staggering number. So we really, really need to focus on those students and making sure that we can reach them, and that when they see what we're presenting, it looks good and it looks like it competes with the other websites they're going to, that it works as well as Facebook, as well as Twitter. 65% are willing to receive text messages from schools. This is a huge jump. 65% is a large number, and if you're not getting cell phone numbers and using those and asking students if you can text message them, you're missing out on opportunities. 43% are using their mobile device for all internet browsing. That means almost half of all internet usage for your college website is done through the mobile device. And a quarter of them never even check email. So I think this is a very interesting point, that we can't assume that email is going to be a way to reach them, or we can't assume that the first time they meet us is going to be in a catalog, or it's going to be at an open house. We're going to have a lot of different avenues for high school students to get in touch with this college. And what's important is that all of the different forms of media are handled, and that they're handled well and consistently. We want to deliver that brand across all of our channels. Facebook is actually losing a little bit of market share with this younger crowd. What we are seeing, though, is that photo sharing is really becoming the most popular way that people communicate. Okay, let's dig in a little bit to Matchbook and see what we can do today to improve that critical first touch point and following up with those initial leads. What we're hearing from people that are using Matchbook now is that it's something new, it's something that they haven't seen before. And in this case, we actually received a letter from a guidance counselor who was told about one of our universities because a high school student found it, thought it was impressive enough that he actually went on to Mount St. Mary's Facebook and posted about it, explaining that he thought it was one of the better things that he's seen, and it's actually helping students find out about the college. Why do we need Matchbook? Why do we need something new, something different than our website or than our traditional campaigns? First, we want everyone to feel special. We want each person that comes into our university to feel like they have a place here, that we care that they're here, and that we really value them as a person. When we're receiving thousands of new students' names, SAT scores, ACT, it's hard to make sure that we follow up with everybody, and the only way to do that is to automate. Websites today are overwhelming. We have just too much information. When they come to your website, they're getting frustrated, are overwhelmed by the amount of information. They want to see their programs, they want to see what life's going to be like on campus, and they want to know how much is it going to cost. And we have more than that on the website because we don't want to waste money on discarded brochures. A lot of money is wasted on print that was generic or is now out of date because a program's changed or a new class has been added or it's just not relevant anymore. So we really want to avoid spending money on print that just isn't going to be used. Instant gratification is something everybody's expecting on the internet. When you go to a website, you expect it to load quickly. If it doesn't load in a couple of seconds, there's a good chance you're going to click the back button. And if you fill out an online form, you give someone your information, you want something back. When you just get a generic thank you page with no response, you wonder what's going to happen. Did they actually get my information, Are they going to follow up with me? I'm just not sure at this point. And we want consistent branding. We work really hard to make sure the brand for a university looks good, communicates the spirit of the college, and then when we start to develop a lot of different marketing materials, sometimes the speed is more important than getting it done right. What we want to be able to do is keep that brand consistent so that every time someone touches our university, we know that they're getting the right message every time. We want to have students coming to open houses. We want to be pushing exciting events on campus, but in order to do that, we have to tell people they're there. We can import your lists and handle the communication for you. So if you already have lists, you get ACT scores or SAT scores, you've got just lists that you've purchased, we can take those names and those addresses and start the campaign for you. We can actually drive people to your matchbook where we can start to survey them, give them some instant data, and learn about them, make sure that first touch point is a good experience and that we're going to already have them into our pipeline, that we're getting them closer to making a campus visit or submitting an application. By starting campaigns, both digital and print, to go to the parents and to go to the freshmen themselves. Let the parents know what those outcomes are going to be if the student stays, and just get that student through the first semester. We know it's hard on everybody. If we can get them into February, they're going to be happy, they're going to have their friends, they're going to find where they fit on campus, and you're going to have a student that stays for 4 years, and you're not going to need to replace that seat next spring or next fall. So when someone decides that they don't want to go to your school, but you were listed high on their choices, we want to start sending them a "we'll see you in 2 years" campaign. Can't wait to have you back. And instead of finding a new high school student every time, we can start to follow up with these college students who are ready to transfer, just not yet. These are 3 very good demographics that we can target for you. Automate that process. You set up the timing when you want messaging to go out, and we actually take care of it for you. Meaning that you can put custom content, photos, copy, statistics on every piece of print that goes out for potential students, parents, our existing class, foundation, anybody that's an alumni or wants to be giving money back to the school, and high school guidance counselors. These are 6 different groups that you can segment from your list and should be treated differently. We really want to stop trying to give everyone the exact same messaging. We want to give them something that's really going to appeal to them. Is that you start by sending out an email invitation to anybody that you have in a segmented list and drive them to this matchbook. This is an example of an email we actually did send out with a very high response rate. And we sent a little preview of what the matchbook looked like. What we can do is provide kiosks where people can actually build their own matchbooks on campus. So you could move these around. If you have a sporting event, you could take it to the field house. You can put them in waiting rooms and lobbies and cafeterias, places where people mingle. You can start to get more information on both current students and prospective students and their families. The other things that we can handle are graphic design, on-demand printing. So we have a full print house, full web development house. We also do all the warehousing and fulfillment. So anything that you would need to be shipped, we can handle. And now we're going to just walk through an example of a matchbook that we have running right now. We want the very first touch point that someone has with the university to be fantastic. It's the only opportunity we have to talk to them for the first time, so we want to make it worthwhile. We want to learn as much as we can about them, and we want them to learn as much as they can about us. So the first thing we do is say that it's good to meet you. We want to know a little bit about you. In this case, I'm going to say I'm a high school senior, and by selecting that I'm a high school senior versus a parent transfer, I'm going to get different information than I would if I was any of those other groups. Next, we're going to look at 5 major categories of information about the university: academics, campus life, residence life, financial aid. So we start with selecting a major or multiple, and you can select as many options as you like. So this is where we can find out what a student wants. Instead of us just designing a website where we focus the website on specific programs, we're actually letting them pick every program. They're right in front of them. They can choose what they want and go right on the next step. What's nice about this is we now have analytics about every person and what they want, and now we can look at it for groups, and we can see if high school freshmen and sophomores are trending into different programs than we're seeing in the seniors. It really gives us some information that we didn't have before. This wasn't traditional Google Analytics content. This is something we're getting for the first time because we're serving people as they work with the product. And financial aid is the most popularly selected item. It's last in the list. I would encourage using it, putting it first actually, because it's so important. It's what students want the most. They've invested themselves maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the Matchbook. If they've gotten this far, we've got a good chance that they're going to complete the process. So all they need to put in is their name and their email address in order to create a Matchbook. Now they'll have a digital guide that'll come up in a second. If they want to put in their address, we'll actually print the copy and some of the photos from their digital guide and mail it out to them this week. And what we're finding is that 80% of the students who fill this out choose to put in their address. They want that print. They want something physical to show up later. I have my instant guide. This is a actual micro website that was just created on the fly just for me. Begins with this welcome page, and this copy is tailored directly to the high school senior that I said that I am. If I was a parent, I would be getting different content there. And then each of the majors that I had selected are now available to me. And in this content, we can have anything that you're looking for. Anything that you would normally have on your website, you can put that content into the Matchbook. So we can have maps, we can have tables, we can have integration with social media. We have all the data that this person selected. We know about them now, so we can run reports from the database and give you exactly how many people have selected each option. You can find out what programs people aren't interested in anymore. You could also test new programs before actually introducing them to the curriculum, and you could see if people would want to select those or not, if there is interest on the web. But this then links back to the main website or wherever you have information about the program or about the event. And then the last piece is that we can set up our counselors to be mapped to geographic areas. So because I put in my address, I know that Nicole is the counselor for my region. So she's automatically added to my digital version of my Matchbook, and her photo and her name are also sent on the printed piece that comes out to me in the mailbox. We are trending up a little bit as the fall season's coming. So if I wanted to edit one of the programs, here's where that would be. If I wanted to look at the different majors, here are all of our majors. So let's say we want to look at biochemistry. So we have our headline here, we have a background photo, and we have some of our copy. So here's our heading. Here's the copy. Again, it's just very basic. We can insert a link here, the photo, and then here's where we would select our image, and we can see what photo we have for the background. So anytime this gets printed, we can have slightly different copy. If for some reason we wanted to use something advanced like a YouTube video that can't be printed, we would just take that YouTube video out of the print copy, and we'd be able to take that, all of this content, the photo, and print it out on a nice direct mail piece, postcard, or trifold, and actually send this out to someone automatically. That every week we'll run a batch of the most recent people who've been added or who have created their Matchbook, and they'll be mailed directly that week.